topics for me?
Oh, somebody stole my recycling bin, and they actually left one without a top to it. It had been broken off, so
The
they
rascals.
Yeah, rascals. But I called the sanitation, whatever, and they came and put another top on the one
They
that
didn't
was.
charge or anything, did they? No.
Not yet. I don't know for sure.
Yeah,
but that.
That's a problem. I haven't heard too many recycling bins being stolen. I remember they used to steal trash cans, but what they would steal trash cans for is that, you know, those big gallon trash can, they break into homes, put stuff in a trash can, and wheel a trash can around.
Oh.
So if we see that going down the road at 2:30, these guys, sergeant over there, probably will stop somebody and say, "Hey, what are you doing with the trash can?"
Fuel trash.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
I want to ask you about a product, whether or not you have heard about it and support it or not. Let's say you have a situation that you got a woman that's 65 years old and needs to go to the grocery store. They go to Walmart and they come out of the store and it's like 8:30 and they have groceries and that sort of thing, and she has to walk quite a distance. She gets to her car and all of a sudden a person comes up behind her, "Give me your purse." Some people will buy pepper spray, but there's another device called Safe Personal Alarm. You buy one, get one free. It's normally $80. You can buy one for $39.95. What happens is that it's like a little teardrop and it has a pin. And if this person is trying to pull your purse away, you pull this pin and it sounds a really loud alarm. Are you familiar with that?
I have not heard it, but anything that people do for protection, I'm fine with. I wouldn't have any issue with it, but I have not heard of that. I tell you, in my past life, in a bar district, this is crazy, but it's funny about noises. There's a bar district in Shockoe Bottom in Richmond, and they would talk about people hanging out after 2:30, just hanging out. So they wanted to put these things up, and they were these boxes, and they put out these tones, right? You're gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm telling you. But you can only hear it if you're under like 21, 22 years old. The pitch. You ever heard of that?
I know about that.
I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But I'm telling you, they put them up, and it's because as we develop, we lose that. But young people can hear it, and it's just agitating, and it makes you move along. And we didn't go with it, but I never heard of anything like that. But after about the age of 23, 24, you can't hear it anymore. But other than that, you can hear it. It's like a dog whistle.
Right.
I've never heard anything like that. But I have no anything that protects people, within the law, right? But that sounds like a pretty good idea, because people get startled with noise and stuff like that, whistles, all that stuff. Anything else?
Homeless people.
Oh, there you go. There are 5 topics facing law enforcement. You guys, we talked about 2. Homeless is another one. Homeless is a big issue. Not only do they get victimized, a lot of stuff deals with mental illness. Injuries, I worry about them getting victimized, stuff stolen from them, mental illness, are they being taken care of? The elements when it gets hot this summer, right, when the temperatures are going to be over 100 degrees, or in the winter when it's get cold. We have a day service center that's moved over it's down in the southeast community off of Warwick, and we can transport people there, and it talks about health, and it talks about hygiene, and there's job fairs there, and treatment, and all this stuff. And then I'm still learning, is it the port system? And I think churches participate in that. But homelessness is a huge issue. I've asked City Council to help me with some staffing. Right now, our department's staffed at 450. I'd like to see us, for our size and how long it's been since we've had an increase, I'd like to see we should be at 500 for the cost or service that we have in this city. But if they gave me 500. If they gave me an extra 50 officers today, I couldn't train them all. So what I asked for is to have an increase of 10 each year for the next 5 years. So as we project out vision, then in 5 years I'd be at 500. One of the things I asked me, what would you do with these extra officers? I would have 2 officers that do nothing but focus on homeless. That partner with Riverside, partner with mental institutions, partner with the day service center, partner with churches. Then I start getting connections, because a lot of times if I can just interact with the homeless person and get them with the right resource, there's things out there. And when nobody focuses on that, we get them to the service center, the reporting center, there's things we can connect them with, but we got to get them there. And some people don't want to go, right? So that's one thing. I'd like to have 2 officers that strictly focus, I'd call them a homeless unit or operation, whatever. but I'd like to have 2 officers that did nothing but focus on homeless. Sometimes they commit crimes, some deaths, but there's some mental illness there, and I just think people sometimes need to help up. There's a wide variety, but I'd like to know who those are. I think, and I won't say it wrong, but I want to say they said there's about 600 on a database that they feel like there's 600 homeless people that we know of in Newport News. But I do think we're very proactive in how we're addressing it. I was in Richmond, this day reporting center, day service center, they've been trying to do that for years up there, and they can't work it out. Here, they've already got it up and running.
Took years here too.
I think it's a good thing.
Many.
The resources in one place, I think, is a good thing. Yes, ma'am. I'm coming to you, sir. I know you had your name.
Oh, you can go ahead.
You're fine. Go right ahead.
Last Tuesday night, every Tuesday night, I work at a food pantry
Yeah.
up in Denby, and it has many homeless people there. I register everybody when they come in. I don't necessarily know who the homeless people are, and that's the way it should be.
Right.
I'm just writing their name, and
Sure.
they're in the computer. And Brother Tim is the person who runs it, and Brother Tim was one of the many, many people who went out on the day of the count to count the homeless
Right,
people
right.
in Newport News.
Yeah.
And it's really a sad situation because some of them won't even go to port
Yeah, you're exactly right.
because they have that opportunity from somewhere in October to somewhere in the end of March.
Yeah.
And they really need to have people that can listen to them because I think the mental illness is
Huge.
huge in it.
Yep.
But also some of them that I think are homeless get jobs like, for instance, I know 2 or 3 of the guys this summer would come with lots of dirt on their pants.
Mm-hmm.
I think they probably were holding road signs where the roads were being done.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they're trying to work, but you have to work a whole lot and for a long time to get the money for a down payment for an apartment.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so.
The other side of that is I put out a sign, I panhandle and act like I'm homeless, and my car's parked 3 blocks away. I seen them pull out wads of money. They're like, what? You know, that's the ones that don't get robbed. They get taken advantage of. But they're out there. They're not homeless, right? They got a nice car sitting away. So you're right. There's some issues there. I'd like to have officers hooked up with people doing that type of work.
Before Brother Tim had a little talk with me, I would take one of the cards from the Five Loaves food pantry and hand it to them. And then he said, "Did you look in the parking lot?" And I said, "Well, no, they were just sitting in a wheelchair and they had a sign." And he said, "Lucianne, it's a scam probably."
Yeah, sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. And it's hard because you don't know, you want to help people, but you don't know which ones are really in need. It's tough. It's tough. You had a question, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm originally from New York.
What part?
Well, I was born in Brooklyn. I lived and taught on Long Island. And I was a police officer on Long Island. And when I retired from teaching down there, I came down here and I worked for Newport News Police Department.
What?
I'm in fact the oldest one who's ever gone through the Hampton Roads Regional Academy for Criminal Justice.
Okay.
I hold the distinction of being the oldest recruit that has ever gone through the academy. And I worked under a chief of police who I won't mention right now. Unfortunately, he had to leave in disgrace. He had a taste for young police officers. He was a bit handy with his, all right?
Sure.
And I'm not going to mention his name, but I have since retired and so forth and so on. And I've watched over the years, and I have to say that you probably are the best chief I have seen here since I came back in 1981. So all I'm saying is that you're doing a great job, and I think you are well respected by everybody in the community. The only thing I have is being an ex-police officer and detective and so forth, is I had the habit of looking at plates and cars that passed me on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always looking at expiration plates and also all sorts of things about the car, you know, watching that. It's a habit you pick up.
Yep.
But anyway, I have noticed that in the last few years, the sound of the traffic here, the noise pollution from the traffic has really gotten out of hand. Now, way back in New York, when people found out that their cars had horns, everybody was blowing their horn crazily until they passed an ordinance and then enforced it by, you better have a reason for blowing that damn horn.
Yeah.
But anyway, down here now, we have a situation where we have immature males who all seem to be trying out for the Indianapolis 500, ramming up their cars as high as they possibly can, all right? And now that the warmer weather's here, opening their windows to listen to that
Music.
well, it's I call it hip slop.
Yeah,
but anyway,
it's all right, I got you. Yeah,
all right? But the pollution from the cars now has really gotten out of hand. And as I said, if you start with the small things like that,
Yep.
the other things tend to take care of themselves. Now, you're right, the homicide rate has gone down and so forth and so on. I've been watching things like that
Oh, wow.
because I've been in the job. But also I'm saying is that if there were certain programs that I admired, for instance, the 5th grade children, graders, were taken out and brought to the prison. City Hall, walk through, lockup. Scared the hell out of them, all right? It did a job. They really talked about that, and it helped them. Try to do that with 10th graders, they'd laugh at it. That's a joke for them. But the 5th graders are really impressible. Now, the thing is that we don't seem to take care of that, because I'm saying if we start small, it tends to take care of the big things.
Wow.
And one of the things that I said before is that this noise pollution has really gotten out of hand. It sounds like Patton's 3rd Armored Division coming out of the shipyard every day. And they seem to be trying to impress each other with as much noise as they possibly can.
Well, let's talk about a couple things. First, let's go back to New York. Yankees or Mets?
Yankees. I was a Brooklyn Dodger fan until they moved to California.
I got you. They broke your heart, I get it.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, so, you know. We played the Yankees one time in the World Series in 1976. Only played 4 games though. That's all we needed. Of course, we ain't been back hardly since. So you touched on a couple things. Let me tell you, we have trouble getting the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, and I don't put anything on them. We have a good relationship. But sometimes Commonwealth Attorney's Office, we're not even prosecuting cases like marijuana. I don't know how they would feel about noise from vehicles. But I will say this, and we've talked about this at length. I was going to try and do it in July, but I don't have the staffing. 450, 500. 2 officers to focus on homeless. When I got here, the traffic, I met with the judges, right? And the judges said traffic enforcement is down like 22%. That they even lost a judge because we didn't have the case volume. From what I understand now, it's up 20%, right? But I wanted to create a traffic division. I think this city's too big not to have it. And every time there's an accident on Warwick or Jefferson, we're shutting down both lanes of traffic. It's a freaking nightmare. The traffic that comes out of the shipyard, you're exactly right. I'd like to have about a 6 or 8 man traffic division that handled all fatalities, that were our DUI guys that handled the massive crashes, that did traffic enforcement. Not to write more tickets and make more revenue, but I think you're exactly right. Those small things set the tone. And we've started using a lot of traffic enforcement around areas where we're seeing violence at. And what happens is that visibility, it stops people from coming and preying on some of those communities. So you're absolutely right. The thing about the elementary kids, you nailed that. If there's anything I'm lacking, I can't speak the way I'd like to my Hispanic population, and I don't have enough interaction with the elementary kids in this city. I don't have the officers to do it. I have an SRO in every high school and every middle school, but I do not do enough with the elementary kids. What we're trying to do right now is, and it's kind of nickel and diming it, but by September I'll have it fixed. I would like every officer, or at least 26 officers, I think there's 24 elementary schools and 2 early learning centers, to adopt an elementary school, and just 1 day a week, 30 minutes. 1 day a week, not every day, 1 day a week. Go to where the kids get dropped off, go there when the kids get on the bus, have lunch in the cafeteria. I was at Jenkins Elementary School yesterday. Oh my gosh. I had some good tater tots, but let me tell you, Pat, you talking about Patton's, that place was crazy in there, right? Kids are running around, it was chaos. I don't even know what happened. And I thought I was done, right? And I was walking out, and the principal come chase me out in the parking lot. Chief Drew, He said, that was just the second grade. You gotta come back for the third grade. That was crazy. But I did it. But I'll tell you what, one day a week is all I can take with that. My gosh. But you know what? They light up and they smile. When I was a kid, we had the DARE program, but I just don't have that now. And I've got to do more with the elementary kids. So I don't take credit for what's going on here. I will tell you, for me, every good thing we do, right? Crime reduction, community interaction, I give that all the credit to the men and women who work here. When we fall short, if our numbers go up, if I don't meet goals, we're not reducing crime in the neighborhood, that's my fault. That means I gotta change some strategies. So I would ask you, what have you seen different the way we're doing things now as a department than years past? What do you see as a
I
difference?
see you doing what you're doing right now. You have become very much involved in community policing and reaching out to the community. That's a great thing. Police chiefs never did that before. And I think that really has had an effect here.
I do that for two reasons. One, you and I both know I think it works.
Yes.
I think most people want to see their chief, they want to put their hand in his or her hand and look them in the eye and have a conversation.
Right. And the
Number one.
morale of the troops
And the morale of the troops.
has gone up.
I think the other reason is I want the men and women to see how effective that is. That's exactly right. And I'll tell you, this is a military town here.
Yeah.
And I don't know about that shipyard over there. Nobody told me there was a whole nother city. 20-some thousand people. That's a whole nother city over there, right? But the problem with the military, we hire a lot of officers out of the military, right? You see some of the officers wearing the, like Eric, I don't know if he has his on or not. The branch, right? Navy, Army, Air Force, Marine. So they'll wear that, but what happens is 2 years and my wife got transferred or she got orders, my husband got transferred, and they come and they go. They come and they go. So we talk about how to keep officers here, but I understand that the military, like, and as many as leave, new ones come in. But the department, what would you say, Eric, half the department is 5 years and under. So I like that because it's a lot of youth, a lot of energy, right? But I miss, Sarge, right? I miss a lot of experience. So I've got to make sure that I have a blend of that. I want to make sure that I'm not putting all my brand new officers on the evening and midnight shift and all my senior officers on daytime, because when's our crime happen? In the evening and night, right? So I've got a sergeant that's been here how many years?
32 years, sir.
Yeah. He was on the force when I was a kid.
Yes.
32 years, right? 32 years. I would say it's changed a lot in 32 years. So I'm asking him to take all his experience and mold this 22, 21-year-old person into crime fighting, right? And today it's all this stuff. That's how we communicate, right? All this text messaging and phone like that. I'm lucky to turn the computer on, but that's how we do it today. So he's trying to get officers to get away from that and interact. And sometimes that's challenging. And they want stuff right away. I graduate the academy today, I want to go to K-9 tomorrow. I graduate the academy today, I want to do the homicide tomorrow. When can I fly the drone and all that stuff, right? So it's challenging. There's some new things coming in, but I will tell you, I think this is a great department. It's a great city. It's very, very progressive. There's a lot of talented people here. Long-term goals for me, I'd like to have a new academy. And I'd like to take a brand new academy. Get this. You getting this on video? I'm gonna turn this way. I'd like to have a brand new academy, right? I'd like to have a nice building, right? 2 floors. First floor is my training classes, right? Second floor, I'd like to have a gymnasium and a weight room. And you know what I'd like to have on the far left side? A playground. And on the far right side, another playground. And then I'd like to have a track running around it, right? And then in the back, I'd like to have some basketball courts. And I'd like to put it in the poorest, most crime-ridden neighborhood in this city. So I got officers coming and going for training all the time, right? People from other jurisdictions coming and doing our training. I got 25, 30 recruits going in there, right? And what happens at 5 o'clock when kids get home from school? They're interacting with police officers right in the training facility, interacting, doing things on the weekends. I'd run a police athletic league right out of there. I need a new North Precinct. I think there's some plans to put that up in the north part of the city off of Warwick. And I got to get my dispatchers, right, who work in the bottom of City Hall. I got to get them out of there. Right, I've got the equipment's good, but the facility's not the best. I need to get them out of that floodplain, probably up north. And when we build the new North Precinct or merge them in with some other things that the city has developing in the north part of the city, but I got to get them out of there. So new precinct, training academy, 911 center, K-9 facility down the road, but there's only 11 of those. They need it, but it doesn't compare to the other 3. The first thing for me, if I could snap my fingers and do it tomorrow, will be the North Precinct. There's 100 officers up there. We've outgrown that building. Our training academy and dispatch, that's the other two that I want to do. But I appreciate it. That's a good conversation. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Anybody else? We're getting close to an hour. I don't want to hold you. Yes, ma'am.